Prevention Loss. Chapter 1. Welcome home, Lil Kev. So what you gonna do, son? Kev blinked hard, sunlight creeping through the half-closed blinds, stinging his just-freed eyes. The couch cushion underneath him felt flat as a prison cot, and the voice above him was way too loud for this early in the morning. Pops stood over him, arms folded, face twisted like he. Pops, damn, Kev grumbled, stretching. I just got out. Exactly. So what now? What you gonna do, sit on my couch forever? Before Kev could answer, the front door flew open. Lil bro. Jimmy. Kev's older brother by 6 years, a walking joke book with a gold grill and an energy drink addiction. He always popped up loud, always smiling. He rushed over and hugged Kev hard, then stepped back to look him up and down. Look at you, fool. Got the county blues out your skin and everything. Jimmy joked, dapping him up. You free now, huh? Kev chuckled and stood up, brushing the lint off his black tee. Yeah, man, for real this time. The house was live. Kids running wild, nieces, nephews, even Kev's little boy darting between legs and snack tables. Somebody's baby was crying. Auntie Cheryl was yelling for someone to get out her damn kitchen. The TV was blasting a gospel channel nobody was watching. Kev nodded toward the back door. Yo, let's step outside. Too much noise in here. As they hit the porch, the sound of yelling followed them, but this time it wasn't from inside. It was her. Kev! Kev froze for a second, then sighed. Down the walkway came his baby mama, Latrice, wearing pink fuzzy slides and a bonnet, phone in one hand and their son's school paperwork in the other. Why I gotta hear from your sister that you home? You ain't call me? You ain't call your son? Kev rubbed his forehead. Trey was just inside with me, Latrice. You doing all this out front? You damn right I am. I'm tired, Kev. Don't come back acting brand new. What you plan to do for money? For your son? Before Kev could reply, Jimmy slid in between them like a referee. Hey now, let the man breathe. He been out 24 hours. Let's give him till at least Tuesday before we ruin his day. Kev tried not to laugh. Latrice shot Jimmy a look and stomped off, muttering to herself. You already in the doghouse, I see, Jimmy said, nudging him. Kev sighed. Been in it since I got booked, bro. Just then, the door across the street opened. A woman in scrubs stepped out, adjusting her badge and pulling her hair back in a puffed-out bun. Jimmy's voice dropped. There go Jazmine. Jazmine, fine, glowing skin, quick wit, and a walk like she knew she was fire. She looked up and spotted them. Hey, Jazzy, where you headed looking like a blessing? Jimmy hollered with his usual lack of shame. She laughed. To work. Where you should be. Then she saw Kev. Oh, wow, Kevin, you just got out? Kev nodded, a little embarrassed. Yeah, yesterday. Well, welcome home. The call center hiring if you serious about working. Y'all be safe, she said, walking to her car, hips swinging like poetry. Jimmy stared. Her man, Ema hit that one day, laughed. Yeah, right. She ain't hugged you since. But you heard her, right? Call center hiring. You need a job, don't you? Kev rubbed his chin. Yeah, might have to hit that up. Scene skips to the next day. The call center building stood tall but crusty on the outside. An old DMV-looking spot with faded paint and a crooked sign that read, Safe Talk Communications. Inside, a group of about 20 sat waiting for the group interview. Kev looked around, trying to shake off the irritation from his latest text argument with Latrice. In a glass office above the floor, G stood watching the waiting area. Afro out, glasses foggy, khakis freshly ironed. He scribbled notes as his mama, Miss Lenora, walked around greeting the interviewees. G's eyes stopped on Kev, sitting back in his chair, texting aggressively, face mean. Disqualified, G thought, scratching Kev's name off his notepad. Once the interview was done, Kev stormed out. On the bench outside sat Jazmine scrolling her phone. This some bullshit, Kev muttered. Jazmine looked up. Let me guess. Didn't go well? Apparently the owner's son pick who gets hired. Lil Afro dude in the glass office? Yeah, he seen me on my phone and wrote me off. She smirked. There he go right there. G walked by in the parking lot, fumbling with his car keys. Kev's eyes narrowed. Kev walked up on him, real casual. Aye, my man. G turned, looked up, then froze. Yes? You was in that interview earlier. You one of them judges? G blinked, backing up slightly. Look, man, I just watched. It wasn't personal. Before it could escalate, Jazmine watched from the steps. G saw her, then quickly straightened up. Wait, you know Jazmine? Kev raised an eyebrow. She live across the street from me. G's whole mood changed. Yo, okay, what if we make a deal? You help me get her to notice me, I help you get a job. Kev chuckled. You want me to coach you on how to get at Jazmine? I'll have you working by Monday, G said confidently. Kev grinned. Aight then. Deal. Chapter 2. Swagger School 101. G stood in front of the full-length mirror inside Kev's cousin's back house, arms stiff like he was scared to move. Kev circled him like a barber about to do surgery. Nah, hell nah, Kev said, shaking his head as he studied G's khakis and oversized polo. You look like a substitute teacher at summer school. G adjusted his glasses. This is my work uniform. Yeah, and that's exactly why she ain't never looked at you twice. Kev flung open a duffel bag and started tossing clothes out. Ripped jeans, fitted tees, fresh sneakers still in the box. G flinched. Is all this even clean? Nigga, please. I ain't jail dirty no more. I wash my. G picked up a hoodie that read never been average across the chest. Kev smirked. Put that on. I don't know, man. This ain't really my put it on, Kev said, dead serious. G sighed and took off his polo. His skinny chest looked like it missed several meals. Kev handed him a gold chain. Nothing major, just enough to catch light. Now put this on. Confidence is everything. If you look like you got it, half the battle already won. G stood in front of the mirror again, fully changed. Hoodie, ripped jeans, Jordan 1 second, chain resting on his chest. Even his posture shifted a little. Kev nodded. Okay, we getting somewhere. G ran a hand through his fro. Should I get a cut? Man, you need a whole new identity. Come on, scene, cut, barbershop. Kev and G walked into Fresh Blends, a legendary neighborhood barbershop with posters of Tupac and Nipsey above each chair. The usual trash talk was flying. Kev, look who back, the barber yelled, dapping him up. Back like I left my socks here, Kev said, laughing. Yo, I need you to bless my man right here. G sat in a chair, nervous. Just to shape up, he whispered. Kev stepped up. Nah, give him the fade, skin on the sides, leave the top full. He got that Prince look. We gotta make it work for him. G stared at himself in the mirror as the clippers buzzed around his head. The afro transformed into a clean, tapered fade with a slight curl. His whole face looked sharper now. Lined up beard, new energy. Kev leaned in. She gon' notice. A small grin creeping in. I feel like I just unlocked. Scene skip, call center Friday. Jazmine sat at her desk, nails freshly done, tapping keys and sipping her iced coffee. She barely looked up when she heard footsteps, until G walked in. He didn't say a word, just strolled past with his ID badge swinging, cologne floating behind him, and confidence in every step. She blinked. Wait, was that Gerald? She turned in her chair, eyes following him as he disappeared down the hallway, her fingers paused mid-type. Okay, she muttered, surprised and impressed. G made it to the break room and leaned back against the counter, trying to breathe. Kev's voice came through his Bluetooth earpiece. She look, bro. Mission accomplished. Act like you don't even see her next time. Let her come to you. I think I'm ready for the next phase, G said, grinning. Kev laughed. Not yet, Romeo. Baby steps. You just made the roster. You still got to play the game. Scene skip. Night out first Friday. Oakland's first Friday was lit. Food trucks, street artists, neon lights reflecting off fresh rims, and everybody dressed like an Instagram reel. Kev and G stepped out of Jimmy's black Impala. Kev had on a black bomber jacket, designer shades, and a gold watch. G wore a white tee under a green varsity jacket and fresh sneakers. Kev's finishing touches. Jazmine happened to be with her homegirls that night, laughing near a taco truck. She spotted them. Oh my God, that is Gerald, one of her friends said. Kev elbowed G. Time to shine. G walked up, calm, confident. Hey, Jazmine, he said, voice smooth. She looked him over, a little smile playing at her lips. Look at you. Somebody got a little upgrade. G shrugged. New season, new me. Kev watched from behind, proud like a coach at halftime. Scene close. As they walked back to the car, Kev's phone buzzed. Unknown number, he answered. Voice on the other end, thought you was slick, huh? You out? You working? Must have forgot who you owe. Kev froze. Who this? Don't trip. We coming to collect. Soon. He hung up. G looked at him. You good? Kev put on a fake smile. Yeah. Just another bill collector. But his eyes said different. Chapter 3. Jada's smile, troubled shadow. The sun dipped behind the Oakland skyline, casting gold streaks across the pavement as Kev clocked out and walked into the corner store for some backwoods and a bottled water. He kept his head low, hoodie up, still watching shadows even though he was supposed to be free. The chime above the door rang. That's when he saw her. Jada, chocolate smooth, nose ring, black fitted jacket and ripped jeans. No makeup, just melanin and a stare that said she could fight and flirt at the same time. She was by the fridge grabbing a vitamin water. Kev nodded. Excuse me. She stepped aside, but her eyes stayed on him. You new around here? She asked. Kev smirked. Been around. Just got out, though. Trying to move different. He laughed. One of what? Fresh out. Fresh start. Trying to be grown. Guilty. Jada stepped closer. Well, I'm proud of you. I know it ain't easy, but don't mess it up. Kev raised a brow. What if I said I was trying to do everything right? Starting with getting your number. Jada tilted her head. You good at talking. He leaned in. I'm better at listening. She smiled and handed him her number. Use it right. Scene skip. Call center break room. G sat across from Jazmine at a tiny break room table. His lunch was untouched. Jazmine was on her phone, but her body was turned toward him. She noticed the fade, the cologne, the quiet confidence. "You different lately?" she said without looking up. He sipped his Sprite. "Different bad or different good?" She smirked. "Still annoying, but not as annoying." G grinned. "Progress. You got plans after work?" "I mean, I was going to binge Martin and fall asleep with my mouth open." She laughed. "Or we could grab tacos?" G blinked. "Wait, like me and you? You do eat tacos, right?" He almost choked on his soda. Yeah, I eat tacos. I mean, not right now, but yeah, later tacos." "I'm with it." Jazmine smiled and stood up. "Meet me outside at 6. Don't wear them fake Yeezys this time." G looked down at his feet. "Damn, I thought I was killing it today." Chapter 4, Past Due. Kev stood on the porch of his pop's house the next morning, hoodie on, blunt in one hand, phone in the other. He scrolled through old messages from Jada, smiling to himself, then paused at a blocked number that kept calling. 3 missed calls. No voicemails, no texts. He already knew what that meant. They were getting closer. Jimmy pulled up in a dusty red Civic, bumping some old E40 like he was headed to prom. "Hey, lil' bro, you trying to slide with me to the smoke shop, or you just gonna stand there looking like the plug on house arrest?" Kev laughed. "Nah, I'm good. Just thinking." Jimmy looked him up and down. "Ain't no money in thinking? Let's go. You owe yourself a day off." Kev hesitated, then put the blunt out on the step. "All right, but I'm driving." Scene skip, call center later that day. G was behind his desk in the IT room, fixing a glitch in someone's schedule portal. His focus was sharp until he saw a shadow move past his window twice. He got up and peeked out into the hallway. 2 dudes, hoodies up. One was short and twitchy, looking around like he was off a pill. The other was tall, stocky, with a scar down his cheek. Neither had badges, and they were definitely not employees. G stepped into the hallway slowly. "Can I help y'all?" Twitchy turned around. "You G?" G hesitated. "Who asking?" They walked off like they owned the building, left through the emergency exit without saying another word. G's stomach dropped. Scene skip, smoke shop parking lot. Kev leaned against the Civic while Jimmy was inside arguing with the clerk about his discount card not scanning. Kev's phone buzzed. Unknown number. This time he answered. "Voice, you ducking like a scared little boy, Kev. That's cute." Kev stepped to the edge of the sidewalk. "Rocco? Ding ding, you win." Kev exhaled slowly. "Whatever you think I owe you, you already got it back 5 times over. Nah. I want what you owe me now. I heard you working. Got a little lady, even a kid. Real cute story." Kev's fist balled. "If you touch anybody I love, you not walking away from it." Rocco laughed. "That's what I'm counting on." Click. Jimmy walked out holding 2 bags of chips and a vape pen. "Damn, who pissed in your cereal?" Kev stared into the street. "Time's up." Jazmine was walking up the stairs with a grocery bag in hand when she noticed a black SUV slowly roll past the lot. Tinted windows, no plates. The window cracked just enough for someone to flick ashes out. She felt her stomach twist. Just then, G pulled up in his Toyota and got out wearing his favorite windbreaker, smiling. "Hey." She forced a smile. "Hey, G, you seen Kev today?" He frowned. "Not since yesterday. Why?" She looked over her shoulder. "I think something's up." G stepped closer. "What's wrong?" Before she could answer, her phone rang. It was Kev. She handed it to G. "Talk to him. Something's off." G put the phone to his ear. "Kev? G, I need a favor. A big one." Scene cut. Kev's plan begins. The 3 of them sat inside Jimmy's garage, Kev, G, and Jazmine. The music was off. The laughter was gone. All business now. Kev leaned over the fold-out table with a pen and map drawn on napkins. "They want to meet me behind the old barbershop on 88th. Say they want to talk." "But I know what it is." G looked nervous. "So what's the move?" Kev lit a cigarette. "We bring the heat before they pull theirs." Jazmine raised a brow. "Are you going to shoot them?" Kev shook his head. "Not unless I have to. But I got a plan that ends with them behind bars." G looked uneasy. "You sure we can pull this off?" Kev looked him dead in the eyes. "You want that job, that fresh start, that girl? This is where you earn it." G swallowed. "I'm in scene skip that night, set up in motion." G sat in his car near the alley watching through a cracked window. His job was simple. Stream the meetup on Instagram Live from a burner account. Let the streets and the law see everything. Jazmine waited down the block in her car, phone ready to call 911. Kev stood under the flickering light behind the barbershop. Hoodie on, hands in pocket. The SUV pulled up. Rocco and his boys got out, 3 deep. "Kev, been a minute," Rocco said, flashing a crooked smile. Kev shrugged. "Time flies when you're not locked up." Rocco stepped close. "Let's make this quick. You got my bread?" Kev shook his head. "I got something better." That's when red and blue lights lit up the alley. Tires screeched. Rocco turned and tried to run, but officers swarmed. Gee's stream hit 1,200 views in minutes. Street justice. Final scene. Later that night, Kev sat on his porch. Jazmine was sitting beside him. G leaned against the rail drinking an orange soda. Kev exhaled. I didn't think it worked. G smiled. That's why I streamed it. Proof. Jazmine looked at them both. Y'all stupid, but kind of brilliant. They all laughed. Kev looked up at the stars. This time, I'm really out. Chapter 5. The good life ain't always good. 2 years passed like a soft breeze, quiet, steady, and just fast enough for Kev to forget what chaos felt like. He now drove a 2019 black-on-black Audi, a 6 with red leather seats and a sound system so clean you could hear pain in the ad-libs. He had a corporate job, regional tech dispatch manager. Not quite a suit and tie guy, but close enough. No more call center, no more late-night texts from the block, just purpose. Jada had moved in 6 months ago. Her daughter, Milani, was 6 and already calling him Kevy like he was part of the furniture. She even made him a Father's Day card made out of a cereal box. He kept it in his glove compartment like gold. Seeing Saturday morning vibes, Kev stood over the stove in silk shorts and house slippers, scrambling eggs while Melanie danced in the living room to old Beyonce. Jada leaned against the hallway wall, watching both of them with a soft grin. I see you, she teased, sipping from her worlds. He flipped the eggs without looking. Tell me you're not impressed. Oh, I'm impressed, even you seasoning this time. They both laughed. Jada walked over and wrapped her arms around him from behind. You know, I could get used to this. You already are. She kissed his neck. You ever think about, I don't know, making this permanent? Kev set the spatula down, turned around, and looked her dead in the eye. All the time. Fireworks. It wasn't over the top, it was real. Steady. Seen catching up with G. Later that day, Kev met Guy at a smoothie bar down in Lake Merritt. G had slimmed down, rocking a fitted shirt and wearing a tech startup lanyard around his neck. He looked good. Clean, focused. I swear, if I see one more protein post on your story, I'm unfollowing you, Kev joked. G laughed. It's called growth, my boy. Try it. They dapped up and sat down. So how's Jazz? Kev asked casually. G shrugged. We cool. That thing ran its course. She wanted someone with more heat. I'm more like a space heater. Kev smirked. You still got love for her? Always. But sometimes love ain't meant to last. We friends, I'm good with that. They sat in silence for a moment, both sipping their drinks, both reflecting. G broke the silence. So you really go marry Jada? Kev nodded slowly. Yeah. I think I am. Damn. Look at us. Grown men with credit scores. They both cracked up. Scene, shadows lurking. Later that week, Kev left work late. It was dark, but the city was calm. No sirens, just the hum of tired streetlights. As he walked to his Audi, he noticed a black Crown Vic parked down the block. Nothing unusual in Oakland, but something about it felt familiar. He brushed it off until he got home and saw a manila envelope taped to the front door. No name, no return address. He brought it inside, carefully slid it open. Inside, a photo of him at Lake Merritt with G, a screenshot of Jada's Instagram post, and a single note, still owe me. His hands clenched. He didn't call the cops. He didn't tell Jada. He just sat there, staring at the words. Scene, the ring. The next weekend, Kev took Jada and Milani to Monterey for the day. Ocean breeze, ice cream, laughter. Kev had the ring in his sock the whole time. At sunset, on the sand, he kneeled. Milani screamed, is he doing what I think he doing? Jada burst into tears before he even opened the box. Yes, dummy, she cried. They laughed, cried, hugged. Kev had never felt so full. Don't think rings erased that. Attached, a grainy photo of Jada getting gas. Kev didn't respond. He didn't need to. He knew what had to be done. Final scene, silent closure. Late one night, under a broken street lamp near the abandoned train yard, Kev stood alone, black hoodie, eyes calm. Rocco approached slow, hands out, grinning. Thought you'd never come alone. Kev didn't speak. Rocco stepped closer, reaching for something in his coat. Kev's hand moved faster. One clean sound, no echo, no scream, just the wind. Rocco staggered, clutched his side, eyes wide with betrayal, not from pain, but from underestimation. He hit the dirt silently. Kev stood over him, exhaling hard. You should have let it go, he whispered, then walked off into the night. No sirens, no chaos, just the sound of gravel under his feet. Chapter 6, Peace Ain't Free. 6 months had passed since that night by the train yard, since that silent decision. Since Kev walked away from the last ghost he owed. There were no news reports. No police visits, just a ripple in the streets that faded as quick as it came. People knew, but no one talked. 'Cause Oakland knew the rules. Some debts get paid in silence. Scene, wedding day. The sun cut through the tall trees at Joaquin Miller Park, blessing everything in gold. White chairs lined the lawn. Soft music played from a speaker G had rigged to the soundboard like a true tech. A crowd of familiar faces sat with shades on and smiles out. Jada walked down the aisle in a cream dress, Milani right behind her as the flower girl. tossing petals like she'd done it her whole life. Kev stood at the altar in a tailored gray suit, hands steady, heart full. Jimmy stood beside him as best man, for once actually wearing something that matched. As Jada reached him, he leaned in and whispered, "Told you I'd do it right." She smiled. "You did more than that. You changed." "No," he said. "I chose." The pastor smiled. "Shall we begin?" Scene, reception, later that night. The backyard was lit with string lights and Ramby classics. Plates of food were everywhere, the grill still smoking, kids chasing, bubbles and laughing. Kev stood near the fence, watching it all. The joy, the love, the peace he fought for. G walked up beside him, sipping sparkling cider from a solo cup. "You did it, Kev." Kev smirked. "We did. You helped me remember who I was." "Nah," G said. "I just gave you a mirror. You finally looked." Kev nodded. Across the yard, Jazmine was dancing with Milani. G looked at her with a soft smile. Not regret, just memory. "She still looked good," G said. Kev laughed. "Still out your league, though." G raised his cup. "Long as we in the same game." Scene, one last letter. Later that night, Kev sat at the dining room table. Everyone else was asleep. He pulled out a worn notebook, the one he kept tucked in the back of the closet behind old sneakers and memories. He opened it and wrote. He closed the book, slid it back in the box, and turned out the light. Epilogue, 1 year later. The sun rose over a quiet cul-de-sac in the East Hills. A little girl rode her bike in circles. Jada watered flowers in the front yard. And Kev, now with a short beard, wedding ring shining, walked out the house holding a small lunch bag and a set of car keys. His Audi had been replaced by a silver electric SUV. He kissed Jada on the cheek. "Be back by 5. She smiled. "Dinner at 6. As he drove away, the camera would pan up, past the neighborhood, past the trees, past the skyline, to a world that didn't change much. But Kev did, and that was enough.